Welcome and good evening. Welcome to Probots, everybody. This is our last week of the group stage, so it is going to be an exciting day. Thank you so much for tuning in. You have tuned into ESChamp, the best channel on Twitch. We've got some exciting news as well. Our finals has been scheduled. It will be on April 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern. So you can do the math. Where do you live, Steven? What?
In Australia, in Brisbane. So GMT plus 10.
So that's like 2 a.m. or what time is that for you? Yeah, like 11 p.m., something like that.
Don't do math on stream.
Too much. We're already going down a dangerous path here. Anyway, we're all going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully you can join us as well. Be sure to tune in again, April 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Info on how to play the bots will be available soon as well. We are going to be doing the human versus bot show match. So definitely tune in for that. It is always a lot of fun. You can check out all the info on our forum when it is available. You can type in !community to get that forum. A very cool place to ask questions, to see what's going on. You can see the matches that are posted for today there. And you can get all the news for Season 2 as well when it becomes available. Again, !community in the chat there for that. You can also type in !join to become a Crown Club member. Very good way to support ESChamp and future seasons of Probots. Again, !join. You get some cool perks. You can get a nice shout out. Oh yeah, I love the shout outs. Drek knows how much I love those. We are going to be doing a few of those today. Anyway, we have Stephen Brown joining us today. Welcome, Stephen, to the show. How are you feeling? You ready for this final day?
I'm psyched, and I'm glad to be here, and I want to see what these guys can do.
Very cool. Do you have a favorite bot? Everyone's kind of picking a Gensi bot as their favorite, it seems to be. All the casters, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can. I mean, alert mainly because Enderman likes eating raw tomatoes. Alert's kind of the underdog, so you always got to rip the underdog.
Well, I've got some sad news for you. Alert will not be moving on, just based on his record. So unfortunately, Alert will not be partaking in the round of 8 to come. We do have some very close matches, actually, though. In Group A, there is a chance for the Harvester to get through. So we'll kind of take a look at that in a moment. Whenever production actually wants to pull up the bracket, we can go ahead and take a look at all that. So do you have a second pick then? One that is probably going to move on.
Well, I mean, we know that Micro Machine is definitely going to be up there, and it's going to be a good battle. So, I mean, Micro Machine or Gensi are going to be the two hot favorites, I would say.
Oh yeah, for sure. Very cool stuff. Well, we've got some cool games for you lined up tonight. We do have Gensi Bot versus MechSweep coming up first in Group A. You can see our bracket there on the screen now. So Gensi Bot, I believe, is also pretty much guaranteed a spot in the finals, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, so we've got a fun little scenario here. In Group A, on the left side there, Gensi Bot and Tier are both tied at 4-2. If either one of those bots loses a game and the Harvester can win his game, we'll have a tie. So we'll have to figure out, we'll maybe do a show match or something between those two bots, I think is how we do it. And that will decide which one of them will move on. So Harvester has a little bit of a chance still to stay in this. So Tier and Gensi Bot, though, if they win their games, they're moving on. They're good to go. And that's Group A. What else we got? Harvester versus CreepyBot, Tier versus Alert. Should be a fun one, even though Alert won't be moving on. And Spiny versus Straylock. And then we'll take a look at Group B once we come back after the break. But I think that's it. I think we're ready for some games. Are you ready for some games? Oh, we're going to do a shout-out. Thank goodness. Let's do a shout-out for our Crown Club member. Go ahead and roll it, production. Big shout out to Conrad Gold. Thank you so much for your support. I've had the pleasure of meeting him live at the finals before. All our Crown Club members, you guys are all the best. So thank you so much for your support. Again, type !join if you too want to become a Crown Club member. All right, now we're ready for some games. I believe production will get that first game rolling whenever they're ready. We're ready. Let's do it. We're moving on to Winner's Gate LE. Will be our first match, a TVT to start. Now, what's your favorite matchup? I've never talked to you that much about StarCraft, so I love seeing people, hearing people's insights and what they like, what they don't.
Yeah, well, I'm a Terran player, so I kind of like the TVT because there's a good chance for me to see what my build's like versus somebody who has the same restrictions, I guess, or the same OP, depending on which side you're on.
Excuse me. Okay, so that's nice. Well, we do have GenCbot here in the bottom right. Again, if GenCbot wins this match, is guaranteed a spot in that top 4. It's our red Terran. Are you good with introductions? Do you like introductions?
Sure. And we've got Mech Sweep in the blue at the top left. Both of these bots are Python bots, and both being Terran. So we've kind of got a level playing field here if ever there was one. And I believe both of these bots are kind of heavy on the macros. So, they're both kind of vulnerable to rushes, but both of them like the macros. So unless one of them just randomly decides it's going to rush, we might see a pretty good game here.
It's not unheard of, but yeah, I think you're right there. I think we're going to get a nice macro game. Mech Sweep does like to get those Cyclones and Vikings. Now, and GenCbot does Bio, if I'm recalling correctly.
Okay,
do you know off the top of your head?
I don't, but it could be a good matchup if we have that. So a little bit of a different combination of units there.
Now, which do you think is superior, Mech or Bio? Everyone's always got an opinion on that.
Well, I mean, if you're a human, then Mech's obviously typically going to be a lot easier to move around if you're just a beginner, and but Bio probably takes a little bit more micro. Yeah, I mean, it
which
just
GenC has.
Yeah, I mean, any bot can have an unlimited amount of micro here. So
yeah, that's true.
Really, you've got to look at what's going to be the best for something that can do an insane level of APM.
For sure. We saw what was the APM getting up to last week was 30,000. And I learned last week too from you guys, apparently the cap is 100,000 and it just breaks after that. Is that it just crashes, or what happens when you get to that point?
I think there's some things that sort of behave weirdly. I know that there are some strange behaviors that DeepMind had around the length of the games as well. When they reached a certain point, things kind of went strange, so they had to limit things.
Now, is that it just got overwhelmed and started tripping over itself, kind of, or we just don't fully know, what causes that?
I'm
just
not
too
sure.
Too much for it to think about.
Yeah, there must be. I'd say, there's something internal that, that it's got a number that, it keeps track of, and it maybe hits a limit and, I don't know, pushes something out.
Oh, yeah, and we do have changes for our bots actually are available finally here in Week 7. We are going to have that and be much better about it for you guys in the next season. A change log is submitted every time a change is made from these bots to us. So we do have some changes. Where can I find that? Is it just under his... I know I was reading about it earlier. Here we go. Changes. We got a whole new section for it. Are you ready? We're going to see what changes. I can't click on it. Why is it not? There we go. Okay, Week 7, changes for GenCbot. We have added new combat scans for better engagements, and a few tweaks here. Vikings and Ravens will now avoid Barrowed Widow Mines much better. Okay, well, I don't think we've seen Widow Mines out of Mech Sweep, but that is definitely something that bots have struggled with, is those cloaked, those burrowed units. So that's a nice little tweak there to be able to, make them a little safer from those.
Yeah, it's interesting. You should be able to program the bot to, as we know, they can kind of see any invisible unit. So you should be able to program them to maintain at least a minimum distance from an invisible unit or a cloaked unit until you know what it is. So that should help you avoid running straight into things, I would think.
Yeah, I would hope so. It's definitely something that the bots can struggle with from time to time. Hey, humans struggle with it from time to time as well.
Yeah.
It's hard. Reaper gets a nice scout off here for GenCbot. Does the ring around the mineral line there, and tank is out for Mech Sweep. And I will say GenCbot's notes also point out it's pretty good at breaking siege position. So the fact that Mech Sweep happens to be going for siege tanks might end up working out for GenCbot a little bit here in the long run. Because, yeah, we're definitely getting a macro game, as you said earlier. These bots both seem to favor that macro style, which GenCbot, again, very, very strong in the late game.
Well, Gensi's already up to, what, 3 bases now, so a little bit of a lead on on that. But there's a bot, so they can do anything, so...
Anything?
We'll see if that makes a difference. Well, you know, the difference between bots and humans obviously is the bots have the ability to control every single unit and give them independent commands, but I think they're still restricted by typical build orders and you know, you have to have enough minerals to do things, and you have a tech tree, and once you go down one, you can't go down the other, you know, or you sacrifice getting units out or getting economy or those kinds of things. So a lot of the early game is going to be very similar between a human and a bot in that regard. So, you know, people talk about, oh, they get 30,000 APM and they can do all that sort of stuff. Well, that is definitely handy, but to a certain degree, scouting is still just as important, and choosing the right tech is just as important. So, you know, those are probably the fundamentals of a human game and the fundamentals of a bot game. So it's, you know, it's just when you get down to the micro and kiting and those kinds of things that the bot's going to have an advantage.
Now, when a bot is doing all its actions and its little things that it does, is it more of each unit kind of thinks independently, you were kind of saying there, or is it more of a hive mind type scenario where they can kind
there
of,
are actually
you
multiple...
know, oh, he's got to move, so I got to, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there are multiple kind of approaches. The hive mind thing is probably more how a human thinks and how maybe some bots might be built. You know, but then because you can control each unit individually, being able to have each unit decide what it should or shouldn't do, like, you know, I think with Micro Machine, they talked about the ability for the units to kind of decide to attack or retreat based on, you know, what the combat simulator sort of said, oh, you're going to lose or you're going to win. So individual units can then decide to move away. And, you know, so in the end, it's kind of got one brain, but you can cycle through all of your units and make a decision for each unit. So it just depends how you program it. It's, you know, you can do a select all army thing, and then it's kind of just a hive mind kind of thing going on.
Now, I don't think we've seen too much of it, and we've talked about it before, kind of the issue, and Siege Tanks actually might bring this issue up, where you need to know when to just dive in and sacrifice some units and then pull back and, you know, not lose anything. Is that just really hard to kind of figure out still, or?
Yeah, that seems to be the big decision-making kind of point where the bots seem to struggle, isn't it? Where they dance back and forth and you see them just like, you know, they're not really doing anything, they're not attacking, because they move forward, they get some vision, they decide, no, I'm not going to attack into that. That's probably the trickiest point, I would say, for bot makers, is deciding, okay, I'm ready to go in now and I've got to keep attacking. And I think if you know, if you had each unit making its own decision and, you know, it was like a human, it would just probably run away most of the time and be like, I don't want to die, I'm out of here. That seems to be a little bit of what sort of goes on. So you kind of need to give them a bit of a kamikaze kind of
for the greater good, and push them into the tank
exactly
line kind of
you know scenario. You'll respawn later, guys, don't worry, you'll come back. You know, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely, to me, it seems like the trickiest part of building a bot is getting those, choosing when to go into battle, and working out how to make all of that sort of stuff work. It could be as simple as just deciding to turn an aggression meter up and saying, don't worry about losing at this point, we're maxed out, just go.
Yeah, well, and that's what it looks like GenCbot was almost about to do, is kind of pushing out. And here we go. Yeah, it is going to start moving across the map here. Turn that aggression mode up, because here we go. Mech Sweep does have a third base, actually. It's a little bit more... I like the positioning for GenCbot to attack into this a little more, even with the slow zones. Had Mech Sweep gone to the left, where Mech Sweep actually is building a base there now, I feel like that would be a little bit easier to defend. It's a little further away from this push, essentially, I think. But here we go. We're going to start having some little engagement stims going on. Units running away, and there we go. There's the turn and run movement. We don't want to die. Let's get the hell out of here. And I wonder what comes out, because GenCbot's way ahead on RV Supply right now.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Like, this is probably the trick, is for a bot to understand or make guesses about where it might be on supply. Like a lot of the better human players will say, I know I'm up on supply because I did this or I did that, or I saw they did this or they did that. And, you know, you probably need some programming to say to the bot, you know, you're ahead on supply, go in and attack.
Well, and yeah, I guess, is there a spot for that sort of where it keeps track of how much supply? Because again, it sees something and then it all of a sudden can't see it anymore. Half the time it just forgets it exists, depending on the bot. So is there a place that you could kind of store that? Like, okay, he's got this much and I've killed those, so now he's got this much. Or something.
Well, it's kind of a trick there, isn't it? You know, I've been playing with some stuff that does build order prediction, so it can kind of predict based on what you see the enemy has. Okay, well, you know, he's done early gas, or he's going, I don't know, barracks into, you know, 1-1-1 or something, you know, going up to starports or whatever, and or maybe he's got 3 barracks. Okay, he's probably going heavy bio, that kind of thing. You would have to kind of code that in and go, if you see this, then they're doing this, and that means they can't do something else, you know, or the timing might change. So you've really got to know, okay, well, at X number of minutes, if they've got, you know, this level of tech, then I'm good to attack. Maybe they've got less economy, or maybe they've got less units, something like that. And, you know, I guess at a certain point, you know, you would expect they all have 3-3 everything, and, you know, you kind of even, and it's just a case of getting the economy and choosing the right battles and microing.
Oh, well, this is not the right battle for GenCbot. Taking a lot of hits here. Fighting from the low ground. Does have a siege tank shelling away at like some Thors and stuff that are kind of pushing up here, but losing a lot of army supply. Somehow is still ahead, though, in the army count. I guess it's just that bio production is just really good. He's just cranking out units right now. Oh,
those Marines are about to evaporate. Oh, and they
okay, now is when you run away. Yeah, now you should run away. So yeah, kind of going back to your point there. So would it be harder then, do you think, to trick a bot? You know how pro players will kind of be like, oh, I'm, you know, look what I'm building, I'm doing this, but then do something, you know, totally different. Is that going to be harder then for it to trick a bot? Or
I think it would be easier to trick a bot, because the bot is going to be, the bots are very binary, right? They're this is happening or this is happening, you know, like they're very black and white with that sort of stuff. So you know, if they see, you know, that you've, you know, I don't know, gone, you're missing some units in your base, and maybe that means you're going to, you know, you've got something out on the map somewhere and you've got to go and find it. They'll just, you know, you have a decision that says it's definitely going to be this thing, or it's definitely not going to be this thing. Whereas a human still has that level of like uncertainty or skepticism, or still being wary about things. So yeah, it could be easier to trick a bot. I mean, you've seen that with the humans versus bot, right? Where you can kind of bait them back to their base, and then you know do those sorts of things.
Yeah, well, we do have a fight going on in GenCbot's base right now. You did have a Liberator. I guess it got sniped off there. Yeah, it looks like the Vikings picked it off or something. But it's our quality is not the best, unfortunately. So I think the stream is better. Yeah, the stream looks great. Yeah, so, no, GenCbot's holding on, but it's starting to lose a little bit here.
Yeah, the supplies are pretty similar. Gency's ahead a little bit in army, but Mech Sweep's got a little bit more mech. So hopefully there's a little bit, potentially there's a bit of an advantage there. As long as it can keep sending units in and keep reinforcing, this could be a good little battle.
Well, this tank line for Mech Sweep is doing phenomenal right now, which is interesting because GenCbot, again, is usually quite good at dealing with siege positions and that kind of thing. So I wonder if some of GenCbot's tweaks are making it just a little bit too timid here, as it is just doing a lot of pulling back, trying to get into a defensive position, but it's starting to hurt a little bit.
It's always the risk of making a change is the unintended consequences. You can only test it in only so many scenarios, and sometimes it can work against you.
Yeah, well, at least GenCbot does have that really good macro that you've talked about. It's got, 4 bases still. It went and got 1 on each side, while Mech Sweep's pushing straight down the middle here. But Mech Sweep ain't no slouch. Look at that macro back at Mech Sweep side of thing. It's been uninterrupted, I believe, completely. I don't think any
6 bases now, so
97 workers. Yeah, this is starting to look a little bit dicey for GenCbot. this could be the loss that gives what's that? Who's our other? The Harvester a chance to move on here. Interesting turn of events.
GensiBot, one of the really crowd favorites for Gensi now, so hopefully MaxSweep can push in.
Okay, well, GensiBot is going to clear up this middle base. Oh, no, I guess not. He does get the one tank, but there's more tanks to the left. They're holding the ramp pretty well here. Tank on the high ground for GensiBot on the right is getting a few shots off, but it's not in range of all the rest of the tanks. So the Bio's going to have to come in and clean this up. They're going to be able to get a few Cyclones on the way, which is always nice. But again, GensiBot's army supply keeps dropping. The upgrades are phenomenal, though. We haven't talked about the upgrades at all. 3-3-3 for GensiBot, just across the board there.
And that's probably the only thing that's got it holding on right now. The supply's really, really dropped. But it's spending minerals, so hopefully it can remax pretty quickly. It doesn't look like
that is the advantage of Bio.
Yeah, I mean it's got quite a few buildings there, so hopefully it can just keep pumping them out, and it's got the defender's advantage. So this battle's really testing both bots, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, GensiBot's barely holding on here, cranking out as much Bio as possible, but it is starting to dwindle here. We actually don't have any more Bio in production. Looks like just a couple of SCVs and an upgrade. And that might just be the tipping point. GensiBot's out of money here, doing some long-distance mining, it looks like, on the top right. So we've got a bit of a base issue there. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe is the base floating? No, it's delivering the minerals. We'll take a look in a second here. Looks like this middle base will go down again. Yeah, it's sitting there. Why are they? What are you doing, SCVs? Why are you walking so far? Making more work for yourselves. Jeez.
Unfortunately, it hasn't got the minerals to. It looks like it's trying to just survive at this point. It hasn't got the minerals to expand and get some more economy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if GensiBot had been mining from the base that the base is landed at, it might have helped out a little bit. Maybe gotten a few more Marines. But in the end, I think MaxSweep just had too much of a tank position. You know, tanks are just surrounding this location pretty much down on the low ground. They're moving up on the high ground, getting closer and closer. All the SCVs starting to get roasted, and looks like MaxSweep is gonna take the win. MaxSweep is number 1 in this group, so could have been predicted, I suppose. Going to 6-1 for the season. It only lost once to Tier, so not bad.
Not too bad at all. And looking at this game, you can see why it's doing so well. It's really got everything kind of worked out there, and it definitely sweeps with the mech, so lives up to its name.
Yeah, I love it when they live up to their namesake. All right, GensiBot is going to lose, and that gives Harvester a chance now. If Harvester can win his game, then we're going to have a tie and a show match to decide which bot will go on. So well done, MaxSweep. All right, coming up next, we've got the Harvester versus CreepyBot. So this is your chance, Harvester, making it happen here. CreepyBot is 2-4. Harvester currently 3-3. So yeah, both pretty evenly matched, I would say. I believe our projections is giving the win to Harvester by the looks of it. Yeah. So I think according to our predictions, Harvester should be winning this and giving us a cool show match. That would be awesome. That just means one extra game for us to watch. Can't go wrong there, can you?
It would be kind of cool to see the tiebreaker game and something new and interesting.
Absolutely. Well, while we wait for this next match to get loaded up, why don't you tell us a little bit about your bits of code, which I have been reading and kind of playing with the code for that carrier bot you sent me.
Good. Yeah, no, we've got a show called Bits of Code, and trying to teach people how to get into bot making, how to get started. We've got a few things on the way. Some of our episodes will be focused on builds and scripted bots. Some will be focused on machine learning, which is a lot of the stuff we've got up to date. Hopefully people can get into that, and maybe people have a bit more time on their hands at the moment, so they can, forget about your troubles and build a bot, and you'll get a whole new set of troubles. So
stay at home by yourself in a room isolated from everybody and build a bot.
Correct. That's what I do every day, so I don't know what. Nothing changes for me.
You got an advantage on us.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty much the same. I sit in my room pretty much all day. But yes, oh yeah, we haven't talked much about our bot makers. Speaking of, so all aspiring bot makers, hopefully we can get you into future seasons. But we've got some awesome bot makers this season. Let's kind of go back in time a little bit. GensiBot is made by Joni Kosonen, aka Gensi, so kind of named after himself there. And then MechSweep is created by Dan the Man. So very cool. And again, both those bots are in Python. Well, let's go and talk now about these next two coming up. Harvester versus CreepyBot. I believe both are in Python as well. Harvester created by Infi, and CreepyBot is created by Bernie. And Bernie's done, I think, a couple bots, right? Or am I making that up?
Well, I mean, I know that Bernie seems to run the Python SC2 library, which these two bots are primarily based off, and the last two bots are primarily based off. And the Harvester is built by Infi, who seems to be one of the maintainers of the Sharpie library, or seems to be heavily involved with the Sharpie library. Very
cool. All right. Well, we do have, what is this? A ZVZ, so a few mirror matchups coming at us tonight. Nothing wrong with that. You seem to either love or hate mirror matchups. I personally love them. I think they're great. You can get some really fun things going on. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop into this game, and we can keep talking about these guys. Moving on to Acropolis for our next match here. Again, if Harvester wins, we've got a show match scenario, ladies and gentlemen. And I do believe, CreepyBot, even if CreepyBot wins, will not be in the top 4. But fighting for all the glory right now. We'll see what happens. Here we go in the top left. We do have our Red Zerg. Give it up for the Harvester. Oh, yeah, and I love it. So I hope you can give us a little more insight on this. Because I get the gist of how it works, but I definitely don't understand the details very much.
Yeah, so the thing about machine learning, or at least it looks like a sort of reinforcement learning, is that it chooses what they call a build category based on machine learning. So the state is a bunch of inputs going in. This could be anything they choose to feed into it, anything about what it sees or what it knows about the enemy, and then or what it what's out on the map or what it has, and then the action is basically the outcome. So what it's going to do from that. So and train for 34,500 episodes. That's quite a lot of games to be training for. It'd be interesting to see whether they trained against itself or other bots, or how it got that.
So my memory is not very good. Is it always the same at the start of every game? This 0 drone or 0 base, 1 drone, 2 queen, 3 lings. It seems to be in the same order every time.
Yeah, that just may be because it chooses the same order quite frequently. It might be the best order that it's come up with at this stage. Actually, that looks like it might be. The action size is 17, so you can see 0. Computers 0 based.
Yeah, 0 is 1.
So there's 17. So it may just choose one of those. Those are the actions.
Oh, they're the possible actions. Yeah. I see. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. Gotcha.
So we don't know which one. It doesn't actually seem to say which one it chose. It'd be nice if it could say, "Oh, I'm doing Ravages now." But I guess that would potentially give it away.
It all makes sense now. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, everybody.
And we didn't introduce CreepyBot down in the bottom right. In the blue, CreepyBot who likes to creep.
Yes, CreepyBot is very good at spring creep. Sometimes it doesn't, but it's pretty good at it. It's choosing every 20 frames. Okay. So so it's constantly thinking and changing its mind and updating. I was like, okay, now I need this, now I need that. This is better. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And that's quite cool to have that regular timing of when it's going to make a decision. I think it kind of eliminates the need to have a fixed decision point. Okay, at 5 minutes, do this. Making that decision more regularly possibly allows it to be a little bit more dynamic and not making it too frequently, because there's something like 22.4 game steps per second. So 22.4 opportunities to make a decision might be a little bit too frequently.
Got it. Well, and I imagine it's a lot less prone to, kind of like you just said, kind of to breaking, or if, something gets it, like say the spawning pool dies early or something. Some bots will just shut down after that. They just can't do anything.
Yeah. And the thing when you have a predefined build order, the risk there is that it goes back to the beginning. So you kill the spawning pool, it goes back to building a spawning pool, and then it waits for that to be finished, and then it continues to make more decisions from there. It doesn't go, I've also got these other, I can still pump out other things, or I can still do other things. It kind of gets stuck at those early game decision making.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad it took me 7 weeks to finally understand how this thing works. I'm not as smart as you guys and all these bot makers, so it's good to have your insights. I am learning a lot, and actually I'm kind of having fun. So I've updated the code you gave me, the carrier bot, and I'm working sentries into it. So I've got a fun sentry or carrier build that I'm going to start trying to play with. So once I get that kind of put together, I'll run it by you and see if it looks any good.
And you've probably discovered that you can decide on your build order and then you're going out to attack, but you're not really probably dealing with yet what the enemy is doing to you. If the enemy does come in and attack you in the middle of the build order, it's going to go, well, feel free to destroy my buildings and units.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the next step. I have thought about that, making the sentries patrol, and specifically, I'm coming for you, Micro Machine. I've got, because Micro Machine likes to do the Banshee harass. I'm curious how it deals with hallucinated phoenixes, if those will kind of keep them at bay, just to shoo the Banshee away, essentially.
So
or if they just
machine versus the Micro Machine.
Exactly, because I can't remember if we've seen hallucinations up against Micro Machine or not. So we'll see if it works out in the end.
It'd be very interesting to see. So look at that. The harvester's expanding rapidly here. Trying to get the economy up, I'm guessing.
Yeah, some crazy 5 bases already, 1 every minute, essentially. Creepy Bot's just going for the standard 3 that you would normally see and is starting that creep spread. Even has a nice little creep avenue over to get the 4th, so definitely keeping up with that macro, at least at this moment.
So one of the things about training your bot and having a decisions at certain steps is making decisions too frequently can actually make it more difficult for your bot to learn. It's because things haven't quite changed enough, so it's getting too much information. But making decisions too infrequently means that a lot might have changed, and it can't react quickly enough to things that are happening in the game. So choosing that exact sweet spot is kind of a bit of an art form, I guess, and one of the tricks for people building a bot.
Yeah, all I know is my bot is in Python. That's you could probably answer Yamabusti's question. SC2,
okay. Yeah. So the Sharpie framework, which what is it? The Harvester, I think, uses. The Sharpie framework is built on top of Python SC2, so it's kind of like an add-on, I guess. A tech lab or something on top of Python SC2. That makes a few of the game mechanics a little bit more easier to control.
Okay, nice analogy. Well, we've got some great control going on here. The mutas are poking and prodding and doing actually surprisingly well against the mutas. They're hitting 4 bases at a time here, and this is what I've talked about before. CreepyBot's really good at just attacking multiple places, microing the mutas away. Each one is really thinking individually and doing its own thing, but it just doesn't build up a big army at home. So far, though, the army supply is actually in CreepyBot's favor, just because it really hasn't lost any mutas yet. So I'm curious to see if they're going to scale up to be able to deal with the Hydras, or kind of what's going to happen here. This is interesting.
It's attacking 4 bases at once here. That's one of the really cool capabilities of the bots.
Yeah.
Is they can just micro 4 sets of units all at the same time.
Well, it seems perfect against what Harvester is doing, which is just expanding everywhere. So it's not going to have a lot of forces in that many places.
And then just dancing swarm hosts. I love to see swarm hosts, but I hate to see them just dancing and not really achieving much.
Yeah, I think we saw this last week at a Harvester. They just eventually ended up dying because they just didn't have anything to do with the air. And I guess mutas are just done. We're not going to see any more mutas or something. Just really favoring the swarm host right now.
So this is where it's maybe not responding
or Hydras,
to it's not responding to what the enemy has, or maybe it didn't predict. So this is one of the things about you build a bot that maybe changes its decision based on what it sees, but it's not really making an intuitive prediction about what it might see, if that makes any sense. So good human players will say, oh, I think that they're going, mutas or whatever it happens to be. I'm going to go heavy on the hydras or anti-air, something like that. Whereas if you wait until you see mutas, then you've got to respond. Then you can be too late and you've already lost too many things.
Yeah. Well, and that looks like it is the case here. CreepyBot doing a phenomenal job, just killing everything right now. A couple more hydras were put in production there, but it is just not enough at this point. How many mutas do we have? I'm guessing 20. Can we see our units tab production? It's like 20 or something. Either way, the swarm host just cannot deal with it. 1 hydra, 2 hydras, they're about to die. Nicely done. All right, so huh?
I was going to say this is probably a case where a human might do better because they might go, well, I'm getting attacked on a bunch of bases, but I'm just going to deal with them one by one. And, not having the ability to multitask means that they might be able to deal with it better. Just a more focused defense, I guess.
Yeah, you can keep your hydras grouped up or run them away until it's time to fight or something. But unfortunately, Harvester's hopes and dreams will be shattered by the Mutalisks here. Harvester did have to win this to move on into the top 4 here. So I believe after this, we've pretty much got our top 4 guaranteed. We'll talk about that in just a little bit here. But yeah, CreepyBot's going to slowly clean up. And look at that creep. I think CreepyBot wins the creep game. Definitely has more creep tumors.
Yep. CreepyBot wins the game and the creep spread war.
Which is actually really interesting because CreepyBot is pretty much solely Mutalisks right now. Wouldn't you not want all that creep so that way the hydras can't chase you down as easy or stuff like that?
I think it's just doing it to show off at this point, isn't it, really? I mean,
well, yeah, that's true.
It's not about whether it's useful or not. And that's one of the things that a bot can do infinitely better than a human because it can just spread creep all day long and it doesn't have to – it can control its other units and do everything else while also spreading creep. So – creep should be one of the things it can do really well.
Yeah. And it does indeed. Yeah, it's taken over the whole map. The final base of Harvester will fall. You're kind of glad that Harvester didn't advance. Oh, it was very close, though. Had Harvester won this game, it would have. I was hoping for that awesome show match. It would have been Harvester versus Gensi there. That could have been interesting. Because I think, wasn't it last week? I think Harvester lost to Zerg as well last week. Or no, Harvester won last week. Wait, I don't know. Yeah, Harvester won last week. Never mind. I'm making things up. Don't listen to me. I don't know anything. I'm just the host. All right, CreepyBot will take the win, and we've got our top 4 for Group A. We're still going to play the next 2 games because they're awesome to watch, and you got to fight for those glory points. But Mech Sweep, Spiny, Tyr, and GensiBot are the top 4 bots of this group, and we'll be moving on to the round of 8. Somebody's really low. Whoa, sorry about that. All right, so we've got more matches coming up here. What do we have coming up next? We have got Tyr versus Alert, one of your favorite bots. And that is our only random bot, which is awesome. That's definitely a very cool aspect of it. Good reason to love it.
That would take significantly more effort to program every single race and every single unit.
That's my question. So how much of it can you copy over to like each race essentially, or do you really have to just program? It's like you're almost making 3 bots. I feel
like you have to make 3 bots. I mean, because each unit has different capabilities. You could have anti-air and anti-ground and those kind of things and kind of categorize them, but because each race has they have different build orders, different tech trees. You have to build 3 bots essentially. You can take advantage of knowing where each of the bases, the expansions are and that kind of thing. You could potentially share some knowledge about how to scout and get information about the enemy and read their units. But I mean, you've really got to say, well, here's the build order for Terran. Here's a build order for Protoss. Here's a build order for Zerg, and then make 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 build orders for each race, and deal with the micro because each unit has its own range, its own DPS, its own. This one's good versus mech. This one's good versus bio. Those kind of things.
Yeah. So I guess some of that would transfer over just how you react to other things. So your Terran, your general Terran defense could probably, these units do this, so I need to stay away or whatever. But yeah, probably not very much.
Yeah, I
Not
can't
a lot.
imagine how much you could share. I think it's a pretty amazing to go with random and try and build out all three.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are pretty much ready to hop in here. Production, whenever you're ready. We're going to move on to Triton for our next game. We've got a PVZ coming up here. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Welcome to the stream. Mindstream's tuning in late. We're just talking about bots in general at the moment. But yeah, Alert specifically, the random bot, which is in this game right here, right now. But in the top left, we have got the inevitable, our red Protoss. Give it up for Tier. Oh, what is this? Oh, Tickles. Boy. This is Tickles. I love it when Tickles comes on to the show. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I love when bots announce what they're doing and they have a bit of a sense of humor. It's nice.
Yeah.
And in the bottom right, we've got my favorite bot, Andy Man likes eating raw tomatoes, or Alert.
About to start my tomato plants. It's nice. Artificial intelligence arena bot or something.
Arena bot. I always think ladder bot.
Yeah, or something arena bot. Yeah. I know it really confused us, but
as long as it has the letters, I figure it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so Alert is Zerg this time. So we've seen a little bit of everything now these 7 weeks out of Alert. Mostly Zerg and Protoss, one Terran game, I think. Maybe 2. It's hard to remember. Next time I'm going to write down our random bot. Because it's, again, this is our first time having a random bot, as far as I know. Wait, am I making that up too? Did we have a random bot 2 seasons ago? I feel like we might have.
Can you remember back 2 seasons ago? I can't remember.
God, it's so yesterday. Hard. I can't even remember yesterday barely. It's just so much. Anyway, we've got a fun game here on Triton. Tier is bringing in his best friend, Tickles. You'll all see what's going on there soon. And I'm curious what Alert's going to go for here as it being a Zerg. So he's got that spawn pool finishing up. Second base coming down. Let's take a look. A
pretty standard opener from both sides here.
Yeah.
So far.
Nothing too crazy. Yeah, I love that Tier just has a nice variety of builds. You never know what you're going to get out of Tier. That's definitely one of our best games. I'm sure you saw it, the Pro Brush.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good when they bust out a little move like that and catch everybody by surprise. Mm-hmm. It's not good when it happens to you on the ladder, but it's good when you see bots doing it to each other.
Okay, well, Alert is apparently good at finding counters to build, so we'll see if Alert is good at defending the Tickles. It's a build after my own heart here. I'm so excited to kind of work on my bot now. Yeah, now that I've got the script there, and thank you for that, by the way, that nice base of a build there.
Not a problem at all. I'm hoping that will come out as a video soon.
Yeah, well, it is a video, right?
I think it might come out as a bits of code video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I liked it. It took you 45 minutes to put that bot together. Again, you were using other bots as reference and able to kind of copy.
But that's how it's done, right?
Yeah.
That's how programming is done. You really don't want to be making anything from scratch if you can avoid it. So, take bits and pieces of what's there and patch them together and, figure out what happens.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm not crazy. So Tier is a random bot, but it's just playing Protoss this season. Okay, so I knew, I could have sworn. I was like, wait, we've had a random bot before. Okay, found it. Yamabushi knows everything. He's always got the knowledge here.
So Tier's a C# bot and Alert is a Python bot. So we've got a bit of a mix of technologies here. I'm not sure which technologies, whether Tier takes advantage of any of the things that Micro Machine has, because I believe that's a C# bot as well. I always get confused with C++ and
Micro Machine C++.
Technically, they're kind of very similar. There you go. So they're very similar, but and some of the technology can overlap. So hopefully they can take advantage of that.
Yeah, most bots are in Python, but we do have the 1 or 3 outliers. I think it's actually just those 3 tiers, like you just said, C#, Micro Machine C++, and then
Java, right?
Java. Oh yeah, we do have a Java bot. Yeah, can't remember off the top of my head. Somebody in chat will tell me here, I'm sure. Kagamine? Yeah, that sounds right. Kagamine.
Either
way,
To build a bot in Java, because I would imagine the Java framework's not as highly supported, so you've really got to do a lot more heavy lifting, and that seems like, yeah, you got to props out to building something in Java. That's a tough gig.
All right, here we go. The tickle beams of death coming. Tyr has masked up his army of doom, and it will march across and tickle everything to death. Now, what are you ever going to see? Guardian Shield or Hallucination or both? Force fields? I can't remember. I haven't seen Tickles. Hasn't been here in a while, so.
Well, I mean,
so
and there's not much of an army to defend this for Alert, so it'd be interesting to see if the Tickle can just overpower and win here.
Well, let's see. What's not a whole lot out. There are roaches out, and that is always a problem for sentries, but not in this small number. Look how quick. If one roach goes down almost instantly. Sentries, when they target fire, I'm telling you, man, they are OP as all can be. The Guardian Shield actually going to be very useful here, as all the units attacking him are ranged. And we saw this actually last week, I think, as well. The Queens, for some reason, only attack when they get up into melee range.
Yeah, that's very strange.
Definitely, yeah, something that just needs to be addressed, the range.
It's unfortunate. And I think Alert might be in trouble here.
There it is. The Archon hallucination. This is great. Drones are running for their lives. They don't even know those Archons aren't real. All they know is that they're pooping their little drawers, and I think we're going to have
You can't see it because it lands on the creep, so it all looks the same.
All blends. Oh, forgot to update the last 2 weeks. That'll happen. Either way, though, this would have been hard to hold even if you did see it coming. Sentries are the best unit in the game.
So
saying it right here, right now.
Mindstream is the maker of Alert. And Simon Prinz is the maker of Tyr, I believe.
Yes, you are correct there. Oh, dude, I'm so bad at this.
That's all good.
Give credit where credit is due.
I love seeing the bot makers in chat, and they're always very cordial to each other. And yeah, as you say, the bots probably have a little bit more aggression, but the bot makers are definitely a bit more polite about, a bit more reserved about their abilities.
Indeed. All right, so yep, Tyr is going to be cleaning up here. And Tyr already secured himself pretty much a spot to move on here with Harvester losing, but definitely secures the spot. We'll have a 5-2 record to end the season here.
I was kind of hoping Alert could just pull one out of the bag, especially if this game didn't matter, so there's a chance to really take a risk, and, unfortunately, not to be the case today.
Well, I have no doubt we're going to see Alert back next season. Definitely has some strong ideas, some strong moves, really good macro we've seen every single week. But unfortunately, just has those little things like the Queens, having to get to melee to attack. And little things like that hopefully will get tweaked out for next season. Because very good play all season, though.
If only those Queens could come back and defend the base a little bit more.
Yeah, and they're kind of doing that thing where they're indecisive. We've seen that in previous games. Yeah, a little back and forth. Which way do I go? Well,
I don't believe the bots can actually issue a dance command, unfortunately.
What?
Yeah,
there's got to be a way to program that in. There's got to be. There has to be.
I don't know.
Well, that is my new goal for my bot. That is the only goal I have in mind now, is to make it dance. Make a ton of zealots and just make them dance. Can you make hallucinated zealots dance? There's a question for you, chat. I've never tried. I would imagine you could, because they're just normal zealots, but fake.
For some reason, Tyr's decided...
he's got to go secure the 5th base location.
Just hunting for these bases and trying to find out where it's going.
You will find the rest of it here soon.
The hatchery's back up, so it's... just made the game a little bit longer, but that's all right. That's how bots go. Unfortunately, they can't GG either. Just have to BM every game and make them play it out.
Oh, look at that force field wall. A thing of pure beauty.
To defend against the...
hey, man. It doesn't matter what it's for. It's all about how it looks.
Show of power. Show of force.
All right, so eventually this will get cleaned up and Tyr will move on. And that will do it for... Nope, I'm a liar. There's still one more game coming up.
One more game.
We've got Spiny versus Straylock coming up next. ZVT. Nice ZVT to finish Group A. And I believe both Spiny and Straylock. Spiny is guaranteed moving on. Straylock is not. So that'll be good. But GG Tier takes the win. All
Nicely
right.
done.
Nicely done indeed. That gets me inspired to do my Sentry build here. I'm excited. This is I'll work on it over the next few weeks here. Hopefully have it ready for season 3 is my goal. Definitely not going to have it for season 2.
I'm gonna have a bot next season as well.
Oh yeah,
it won't do very well. I guarantee it won't do very well, but it'll be fun to have something up there.
Awesome. Terran bot.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
I won't ask you to reveal too much here. We don't want to give away your secrets.
Oh, it's fine. I'm following Vibe's Bronze to GM series at the moment, and so that's inspired me to build a Vibe Bronze bot, at least to start with, and see if I can scale it up as we go.
Awesome. That'll be fun. All right. Hopefully we can get more bot makers. It's what?
I was going to say it's working out for me, kind of. I'm at gold now, so at least I could build a Vibe Gold bot. And if the bot can do better than me, then it's proof that it's just me that's incapable of doing the build properly.
Bots are just better. Bots are superior to humans in every way. We know that it's a fact.
This is true.
Well, we do have one more match coming up here for Group A. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and joining us. Again, our finals will be on April 11th, and they will be online. So all you got to do is sit down in the chair you're sitting in right now and turn on ESChamp. Simple as that. So hopefully we'll see you all there. All right, so
don't get up, don't leave your chair.
Don't leave your
chair. Yep.
Start making a bot for next season. So I do have some questions for it, but we'll go over those later, I guess, after this game. But what's the best place for somebody to start? To download a bot, or is it just the AI Arena, or?
Yeah, I mean, if you are a programmer already, then you probably want to go to the SC2 AI Discord. Is probably a good place to start, and then from there you'll be able to choose the language that you probably know the best. If you don't program already, then Python's probably a good place to start. And yeah, check out search for tutorials. I've got a few tutorials. There's quite a few other tutorials out there for different frameworks. So obviously bits of code, that kind of thing.
Awesome. All right, well, we're here on Thunderbird for our last game of Group A, but we do have 4 more matches coming up after the break, so everybody stay where you're at. But down here, or up here in the top left, we do have our Red Zerg going for second base. It is Spiny. Very good at creep spread as well, by the way.
And both of these bots are Python bots. So
yep.
Once again, back on a level playing field. And
Spiny's,
the bottom right in blue, the Terran is Straylock, or Straylock, as you say.
Yeah, I'm an American. I say it all Americanized. Spiny Bot's creator is Rasper, and then Straylock created by Armageddon.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. All right, so this is just for the glory here. We'll see if Straylock can get a win. I believe Spiny probably favored here, currently second in the group. 5-1
when
record,
I saw
only
Spiny,
lost to Mech.
I was kind of hopeful that Spiny would do one of those giraffe walks, and that was just kind of all it did. But not to be, unfortunately. Not
to be. Well, we'll see what happens here. Straylock might be able to pull something out. You never know with these bots. If I recall correctly, Straylock a little bit slow on the macro seems to be what really holds him back. Just doesn't get that second base for a while. I think maybe I'm thinking of a different bot, but we'll see here. Yep, going for that factory first before an expansion here.
It looks like scouting the third of Spiny as well, just sort of sitting around there. Yeah, that's a red.
Are either of these bots? No, neither of them are learning bots. Wait, Straylock is good at adapting to opponents. I don't know. Are either of these a learning bot?
It says that Spiny's decision making is adaptive as well. So it may be that they're scripted and they make decisions without learning. They just have a sort of a branch that says, okay, go down this way if you see this, that kind of thing. Kind
of enough. Yeah, like you were talking about earlier. If this, then that. Do that kind of thing.
I think the Brood War bot, people call them if bots. So the if this and that kind of bots.
Oh, okay. So they learn after each game. It's one of those learning bots where it analyzes, okay, this worked or this didn't work, and then adjusts itself next game. Okay.
Yeah, there are lots of different types of machine learning. So the one that AlphaStar uses is called reinforcement learning, and that's where it's kind of like you teach your dog to sit, and if it sits, you give it a treat, and that's how you reinforce good behavior. And if it doesn't sit, well, maybe you give it a not treat, and that's how you unreinforce bad behavior. But there are other bits of machine learning which machine learning can be as simple as having statistics on what which builds are good or bad, or against certain enemies, and just using those statistics to make a decision and just updating the statistics as you go, which is what a lot of these bots tend to do. They tend to update their statistics and go, I won with this build against this spot, so keep using that, or I lost, maybe give it a negative score and use something else if it's got a higher score.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh yeah, and it's awesome having all you bot makers in the chat here. So Spiny does adapt in-game, actually. So Straylock will adapt after games. Spiny is more of a learn-on-the-fly bot, which is very cool. Yeah, there's just so much that goes into this bot making. It's
yeah, and you can have machine learning in different parts, right? You can have machine learning, for example. I've got an algorithm there that can learn how to optimize a build order. I've got an algorithm that can learn which is going to win a certain matchup of army compositions, those kinds of things. So you can learn at the macro level of this build beats that build, and you can learn at the micro level of this unit beats that unit, and lots of different things in between. You can have algorithms for the best creep spread to get you across the map, or those kinds of things as well.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, well, Straylock struggling a little bit. Does lose the Reaper, loses a Cyclone, or a Hellion there as well. So just trying to poke and prod, but Spiny's doing a really good job at keeping him at bay. What do we have coming up? So yeah, just very standard out of Spiny still. 3 bases. No real tech from what I've seen just yet. Just the Zerglings and the Queens are out. Meanwhile, Spiny getting mech. Straylock going for mech. And now this was something I think that changed, because Straylock was doing more bio, I believe, at the beginning of the season, but now I remember last week was mech heavy, and then this week is mech heavy as well, it seems.
It's funny, it seems to be doing a bit of a map search. Are they looking for a hidden base or something down in the corner there?
Yamabushi has an algorithm that will exploit your algorithm. It's a reverse Uno algorithm there.
There's this thing called ensemble learning, where you can have one algorithm and then you have another algorithm that learns what the first algorithm is good or bad at. And by stacking algorithms on top of each other, you can potentially get something that is better than just one algorithm on its own.
So right. Now, does it ever overwhelm the bot? Like, say you stack too many algorithms. Is that a thing?
Well, obviously, the more algorithms you have, the more computation is required and the more things it has to go through to learn. But making a decision is usually, once you've fed all the data in, decision making is usually quite quick. It's the energy goes in at the learning phase so that you can make decisions quickly and it doesn't overwhelm it and have too many problems at that point.
Okay. Man, I'm liking this composition out of Straylock.
Yeah, it's quite good. It seems like a good adaptation that they've got here. The mech versus the Zerg at the moment seems like it could do well, but the economy of Straylock is a bit limited, and Spiny looks like it it's really ramping up here and could really max out on any unit and probably get that advantage.
Well, yeah, the macro does look very good. Sorry, I interrupted you there. You were saying something, continuing that thought.
I can't remember what I was talking about.
It's gone now. I ruined it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I think the bots can, they can technically take as long as they want to make a decision. So But most tournaments will have a limit on how long they can take, just to sort of you can't take 10 minutes per move. The game will take years to finish. So some games will typically a game will complete much faster than it would for a human, because it can just do all the processing, and it's artificially slowed down for a human to play at a decent speed, a playable speed. But if you had a bot that was making too many decisions and doing too many calculations, then it would slow down. It could actually run much slower than a human. And you do get that sometimes. For example, I did some Q learning tutorials, and when you add too many things to Q learning and you get too many scenarios, it can actually get bogged down with all those scenarios and take a long time to search through them and update them and do those sorts of things. So the games can run far slower. So things like neural networks are a lot faster, a lot better at learning, because they seem to be consistent speed-wise, regardless of the amount of data that you've got.
Well, that's okay. That makes sense. Ooh, well, a bit of engagement. So far, the Cyclones have actually done really good. We've seen this hit squad. There was a little hit squad of 3 there, poking, keeping creep back, killing queens. And now the army for Straylock actually looking pretty formidable. There is a slight army advantage as far as numbers goes for Spiny, but fighting off a creep is never good. And the concave for Straylock, the micro so far has just been phenomenal. That Cyclone lock-on is just not to be trifled with.
That's great. Oh, man,
he almost got this base too.
Because the bots can kind of infinitely micro away, they can take advantage of that quite easily.
Oh, does get caught. Loses one Cyclone in the corner there. So yeah, Straylock needs to be very careful with that. It's that path choosing. It chose to go to the right instead of the back, and it got pinned in the corner.
That's the thing. People say, "Oh, it's got infinite APM; it can just fight and never lose." But actually, if it hits a wall, like it's if it can't see far enough ahead that it's moving in the wrong direction, or it just happens to get bad positioning, it doesn't necessarily win every fight.
Oh, very true. Positioning is a big part of StarCraft for sure. I love it. The drone tried to build the base and couldn't. And just like, fine, I'll put it here.
And the thing about bots is that, taking into account the terrain can be very difficult. So saying, oh, you've got a wall here, you should only retreat in this direction and all of that. A human has probably more, I would say, spatial awareness to be able to, predict where's going to be a bad place to move. Whereas a bot might just go, I've just got to get away, and this is the nearest open space that I can retreat to, which happens to then put them against the wall. Mm-hmm. Doing well there, though, kiting. It is moving back quite a long distance. Very far. And look at the army supply still in Straylock's favor. Even with these engagements look like they're so Zerg favored. There's just so much Zerg kind of there. But the Cyclones are just doing a crazy good job, I think, at trading valuably. I'm curious how many kills each one has now. Yeah, doing quite well. And Straylock's got, on 4 bases now, so it's got a little bit of an economy.
Yeah, no, Straylock has remained relatively unharassed here. Spiny hasn't done any run-bys or anything like that. Nothing, no mutas into the main, so nothing cheeky. Just trying to hold back this crazy Cyclone Hellion harass here. The Blue Flame doing a great job against the pretty much Zergling Baneling composition here as well. There's a Roach or a Hydra mixed in, but
here's our upgrades. I was going to say we haven't got any upgrades yet, but here we go. We've got upgrades down there. Looking at the APM counter, trying to see where the upgrades are.
Yeah, I think, what is that, +2 armor for the Zerg coming up? Is that +1 attack? My screen's so grainy, it's hard to see.
These roaches are possibly going to cause a few problems.
Yeah, if anything, I'd say the Hydras would have been a bigger problem if he could just get out enough, but there's like 1 on the map right now. I think that's going to be the only thing.
It's so good to see.
The brave little.
Oh, here we go. We've got a mass Cyclone coming back in here.
Oh, this
seems to be the battleground.
Yeah.
Question is whether the Zerg is pushing across on the other side of the map, and whether it's just going to bring units into this fight, or whether it's going to push onto the enemy base, because it's so close there. That 4th of Straylock there.
Well, I love how Straylock is keeping Spiny busy on the right and was able to then just push it on the left, and Spiny just does not have enough forces to do both, and was kind of choosing to fight those 1 or 2 Hellions on the right or whatever it was, instead of going back to defend that base. So Straylock is holding on tight. Creep is starting to invade his base a little bit, but he's got the base mining. It's relatively defended. Nothing's attacking it, at least at the moment. Too busy dealing with this pressure on the left still.
I wonder if there's what sort of vision, if any, is going to come in, whether it's going to use scans or whether it's got any chance of getting some air units in to give it some high ground vision or help it clear out that creep spread.
Oh, yeah, I even even thought that. So say the creep keeps going, Straylock's not going to be able to take all the bases or any more bases if creep ends up getting there, which is there.
And
creep
if you can see the high ground, it should be quite good at just taking out some of the Zerg units from the low ground, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, here we go. Big engagement. Actually double the army supply for Straylock. I think he's just trying to make it happen with the Cyclones right here, right now, and it seems to be working. That lock-on with the micro is just a deadly combination against anything that Spiny has right now.
It's great to see this micro and the kiting.
Oh, my goodness.
It's just, it's incredible.
Yeah, holy Cyclones indeed, Dusty. Holy Cyclones. That this is over. I think Straylock did it with a bit of an upset. Our second place in the group, Spiny, falling to the 7th in the group and this is just Straylock's second win too. So well done.
It's nicely done. Got to risk it to get the biscuit, and Cyclones was the change that made it work.
Is that an Australian thing? Risk it to get the biscuit?
No, I think I saw it in a movie once.
I like it. I'm going to start using that. Oh, man. Yeah, holy crap. Yeah, there's nothing that's going to stop these Cyclones at this point. You would need brew boards, Vipers.
Maxed out on supply here. And
yeah. Well done. Straylock with the snipe. It's going to be taking it, but unfortunately will not be moving on in the top 4. Spiny is guaranteed that spot regardless of his performance in this game. But well done. I'm very excited to see all these bots hopefully come back next season. Definitely got some really good potential here out of all these guys.
It's good to see Straylock get a win there and just claw back a bit of pride.
Oh, yeah, we're thinking of trophies for the final. Are we going to do a digital trophy this year as well? It's all online. You get a nice JPEG of a trophy with something on it.
You get delivered a trophy with some sanitary wipes to clean it.
Yes, indeed. All right, so yeah, Straylock's going to push in, clean the rest of this up. So again, Group A is done. This is the final moments here. We've got our 4 bots moving on to the round of 8. It will be Mech Sweep, Spiny, Tier, and Gensi bot. So well done to all of you bot creators. Your bot's moving on to the quarterfinals there. Well done. Let's all give them a little round of applause at home there.
Nicely done.
Phenomenal Group A. Great games all 7 weeks here. Been a lot of fun to watch. And that's it for Group 1. Can we do a shout out? I've been waiting so patiently, Drek, to do a shout out. And if production's ready, whenever they are, we're going to do a shout out. Once we come back from the break, we'll do one. Okay. I don't know if I can wait that long. Well, before we get set up for the break. Yeah. Okay, we're going to do it. Well, before we do that, okay, I guess we're doing it. Shout out to M, a.k.a. Marco. Thank you for your support. It goes a long way. Again, if you want to become a Crown Club member and be cool like M, you can type in !join in the chat. It is a great way to support future seasons of Probots and other events that we do here on ESChamp. We're actually going to do a fun community night tomorrow night at, I believe, 7:30 or something. 7:30. Check the forum because there'll be some fun information there. !community in the chat. Oh, it's a Crown Club only thing. Oh, so if you want to partake in our community night, you can still come watch. But if you want to partake, make sure you become a Crown Club member. The best way to do it. Also, yeah, type in !community, the forum. You can get all of our info there based on, as to when the live finals are happening. who's going to be in the live finals. Again, live online, April 11th. Make sure you're here. That is a Saturday, and that's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully we get you all tuning in for that. All right, so Group A is done. We're going to be doing Group B after the break. Thank you, Stephen, for joining us and for your insight. A lot of very good information.
Thanks for having me, and good luck with your Protoss bot. Hope to see it next time.
Oh, you're going to be helping me, so
for sure.
You are my luck. But yeah, don't forget Stephen Bot's bits of code. You can check that out. Just do a little Google SC2 bits of code, however you want to find it. And do you do any other segments, or I think you were gonna start a new segment, weren't you?
Basically, we've got kind of, I think, two paths for bits of code. One is going to be the machine learning tutorial side of things, and the other is me doing builds so that people can kind of got something to replicate and something to emulate, like you have with the Protoss bot.
That's how I learn. I learn monkey see, monkey do. That's definitely how I learn.
And so, I'm just going to make sure that I teach you how to build something that I can beat, and then not have to worry about your bot, and I don't have to be last.
Make sure the student doesn't surpass the master, huh?
Exactly.
All right, very cool. Well, definitely stay tuned again. We're going to be back after a quick break with Group B. We've got 8 more bots going at it. We've got Micro Machine, Kagamine, Three-Way Lover, Madbot, Paul, Cinderblock, Additional Pylons, and Antibot, all coming back after the break. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to our final open stage day here, Week 7 here on ESChamp. This is Probots, Season 1 of 2020. And again, we'll see you after the break. Stay tuned. And we're back. Welcome back to Probots. We are here with Group B, and we are also joined by the doctor. He is back for more Probots. Welcome.
How's it going?
Ooh, good. Just got back myself here. Thrown into the fray. All right, so Group B, did you get to watch any of Group A there?
I saw Strelic versus Spiny. That game was really something.
That was a very good game. Good performance out of Strelic for sure.
It's like when it kept getting Valley over and over and over again.
It's good stuff. All right, so we got Group B coming up here. Now this one is exciting. There are, let's see if I can remember correctly. Yeah, there's a lot of ties currently in this group. So production, if you can pull up the bracket, go ahead and do so. We've got Micro Machine, of course, in first place here with a 6-0 record currently. So he is guaranteed a spot to move on. We've also got Kagamine and Three-Way Lover at 4-2. So they are also guaranteed a spot to move on. Now, this is where we've got some ties. We've got Madbot at 3-3, Paul at 3-3, and the Cinderblock at 3-3. So I have no idea what is going to happen in this group and who's going to be moving on. Because, I guess actually, I'm sorry. So Kagamine and Three-Way Lover aren't guaranteed a spot necessarily. If they both lose, or if either one of them loses, and any of those 3 bots, Madbot, Paul, or Cinderblock win, then they could take their spot and we could have some show matches. It's just going to be, this one's going to be very weird to see who moves on.
It is getting really complex.
Yeah.
Seems like every time there's a AI bot tournament, there's always a tradition, at least a 3-way tie, maybe a 4-way tie.
It'd be nice to get Three-Way Lover in that 3-way tie. It would just be all too fitting. All right.
It would be. So, what a wonderful name.
All right. So we've got, do you have a favorite in this group? Now, your Gensi bot, your other favorite, is moving on. So
yes.
Don't have to worry about him. But who in this group do you think you'd like to see move on? Besides Micro Machine, because Micro Machine's obviously moving on.
Probably Kagamine. He's probably moving on already, but
she is moving on.
Gosh darn it. We're giving, that's the first step towards the machine rebellion, right? Like giving robots genders.
Yeah, it's inevitable. But yeah, anyway, before we get things started off, let's go ahead and get you guys to become a Crown Club member. If you type in !join, you can have a chance to partake in our Bots versus Humans show special spectacular. We don't have a fancy name for it yet. I'm going to come up with something. It's Humans versus Bots show match, essentially, and that will be happening on April 11th after our finals. That will be live online. So if you want a chance to play for Team Humanity, make sure you become a Crown Club member if you are not already. All you current Crown Club members, you will have your shot to save humanity from the robot uprising for one more year. Should be a lot of fun, but yeah, definitely check that out.
Or we could just stop giving robots genders.
Nope, it's too late. We're already done. We've already done it, so they already know too much. All right, so we're gonna top into game here soon. Oh, and type in !community as well for all up-to-date information with the finals, as well as season 2 will be happening very shortly, maybe a couple months, something like that. For updates on that, definitely just follow the forum. Easy. All right, and a shout out. We're doing another shout out. Woo! Do it. Shout out to John. Thank you for being a Crown Club member and supporting ESChamp and Probots. Makes the bots very, very happy. All right, now we're ready. We are ready for our first game here in Group B. We've got Micro Machine versus the Cinderblock coming up. Obviously, Micro Machine favored, definitely heavily, I would say, just against anybody. I'd say Micro Machine is heavily favored, but you never know. We saw a bit of an upset at the end of Group A there. So maybe we'll see one here. Cinderblock does have 3 wins under its belt, so you never know.
You do never know, indeed. Cinderblock, if I remember correctly, is one of the... Oh, yeah. We should introduce our bots.
I think frozen. I wasn't sure if we were here or not. I was like, what's happening? Okay, we're good.
Well, I'm still here.
Okay, good. Yeah, we've got Cinderblock. In the bottom right, our blue Zerg. Who's this?
And in the top left, I mean, he almost doesn't need an introduction, but in the top left in the red, we got Micro Machine.
Indeed. Micro Machine created by Raf, RR, and Unusual. Usually both hanging out in the shack. Yep, there's Raf right now. So he'll be able to give you any insights on his bot. And Cinderblock created by Polymorphotic. And is good at hitting and early timing. So maybe Cinderblock can shut Micro Machine down before Micro Machine can harass Cinderblock dead. But Micro Machine's always the first to attack, let's be honest.
Yeah, the first to attack is such a huge advantage when it comes to bot versus bot, because if you slow down the economy early on, it really tends to snowball out of control. And your crisp timing attack that you're planning to use against the other bot, well, it's not going to be as crisp. Looks like there's a little bit of interesting spawning pool placement from the Cinderblock.
Didn't we see this last week? I think we saw the same problem last week out of Cinderblock.
It never fails to amuse me either. Every time I see bots decide to play buildings inside the mineral line, I just chuckle because I've been there. I've done that. It's a real common problem to have. And it's really annoying too because it can easily snatch victory from you.
Now, does the bot choose, from what I've seen, because I just downloaded Steven's carrier bot that he built, and I'm kind of looking through it and playing around with it a little bit. At least this one does not seem to choose an exact location. It just kind of says, build this pylon or this building near the nexus or something. So that's probably what's going on here. But can you say, build it in this exact, section?
Yeah. You tell it where to build it. What computers work is you always got to be ridiculously precise. You got to be like, I want to build this building at this time at this location with this worker. And part of the problem is every map is different. So people generally try and come up with a generic way of deciding where to place buildings. And sometimes there's a little bug where you say, okay, start at my main base and spiral outwards and find the closest unoccupied space, right?
That might be how the one I had. Okay.
And then if you do that and you don't take into account, wait, the closest unoccupied space might be in between the minerals and my base and impede worker movement. Like your bot's not going to care. Your bot's just going to happily place that building right there in the middle.
As long as it works.
I mean, yeah, it will do its best. It's better than not building the spawning pool, that's for sure.
I will say it looks like this position doesn't affect it too much, thankfully.
It's definitely one of the tamer situations. Like he's still able to mine from, I think, most of his mineral patches. I don't know if that has one mineral patch blocked off, and mine at pretty decent efficiency too. I've seen Roach Warren placement that completely cripples bots, and you're like, dude, why can't the enemy bot beat me? Why do I have to beat myself? You know, like it would be nice if I could actually like play StarCraft. Like it's the kind of feeling playing against Protoss all the time, but as a human.
Oh man, these Reapers doing work.
Yeah, but these Reapers are doing work. Looks like he's picked off a couple drones so far. Definitely slowing down the Cinderblock's timing attack.
Yeah, this is exactly what you were talking about. If you can't mine the minerals at the correct speed, you're gonna get slowed down just in every other facet of the game. And currently, the production tab is actually null and void for Cinderblock. Meanwhile, we've got Cloaked Banshees on the way for Micro Machine, so it's looking a little bit dicey already for our Zerg player. I think it might just be dead.
What's up with Cinderblock? It is choosing not to spend all its minerals. It has supply. It has gas.
Something happened. It just doesn't want to make more drones.
I wonder
if it was a lot because it lost so many drones, or what do you think?
I wonder if it attempted to build a tech structure and it set a flag saying, "Hey, I've built like a Hydralisk den," right?
Oh yeah.
And then it got the Reaper killed the drone trying to build the Hydralisk den. And now it's just sitting here trying to build Hydras because, like, it's like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it could be something like that. I don't know. But it's been a common issue for my bot before. It gets stuck trying to spam a command it can't actually do.
It's unfortunate. Well, Micro Machine will pick apart Cinderblock here. Well done, I think. Was quite the predicted outcome. So, nothing too surprising. Sorry, turn on a light there. It's getting dark out. All right, so yeah, not much more to say on this one. Micro Machine, obviously, moving on to the round of 8 here. Cinderblock is going to go down to what is Cinderblock's record now? Actually, not too bad. 3-4. 3-4. So kind of could tie with another bot still. I think for that 4th place position. We'll see what happens as this group goes on. Yeah, again, this group is such a wild card group. It's really hard to say who's going to move on other than Micro Machine. So nicely done. All right, so when's your bot going to be done? You're going to be ready for season 3 with my bot, right?
Probably. I'll just submit whatever I have, just like I did last time. Except this time I'm going to probably test it a bit more, see if I could deal with cloaked units and maybe worker rushes. Doesn't look like we've seen too many worker rushes this season, but you never know.
Just that one tier game, so watch out for tier. But
yeah, I mean that's good advice just in general. Like tier will bring tears to your eyes if you're not expected his decisive victories against you.
Indeed. Well done, Micro Machine. Will take the win there. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to get my Sentry bot up and running, especially after seeing tier play today. It was good inspiration for me.
I can't wait to see it either. The concept of a Sentry bot is just so appealing to me because you can do so many things with sentries. Sentries can even make more units. I mean, just pretend, but like it could make more units.
And if you think about it, if I do only probes and sentries, my bot would be the truest bot of all the bots because both those units are bots. Think about that.
That's so true. Okay, slow down. We don't need the robot uprising quite yet. But
all right, coming up next, we have got the Harvester versus Creepy Bot. Am I looking at the right thing? No, I'm looking at Group A. I was like, wait, we already did that. We have got Kagamine versus Antibot. So this is going to be a really good one. Kagamine currently tied for 2nd with a few other bots here. And meanwhile, Antibot sitting down at the bottom of the group does only have 1 win, but number 1 in personality, I'm going to go ahead and give to Antibot. So you win something, Antibot, that's for sure.
I always want to call him Anime Bot. I've brought that up many times before, but every time I hear the word Antibot, I'm like, oh, Nope, it's just Antibot. Artificial No Intelligence. It's a wonderful name. Wonderful actor.
I was just think of like the name Annie. Just, Annie. Anyway, we're going to go to Disco Bloodbath for this game. We're ready when you are, production. We've got a ZVT, the classic StarCraft matchup coming here.
Starship
so yeah,
Troopers.
I'm Starship Troopers. I got to go watch those again. I love those. Did you know there's a Starship Troopers animated TV show?
I did not. That sounds absolutely wonderful.
If you like Starship Troopers, you'll like it. That's about as far as I'll go.
Okay, sounds like the Star Trek TV show. If you like Star Trek, you'll like it.
Oh man, the new Star Trek. Oh my god, don't even get me started.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
So good.
Top right in the blue, the Terran. We got Anti-Bot.
Strategy, no starboard. There's that no intelligence coming in. You know what? I'm just not going to build things that help me win. No. We'll see what happens here. In the top left, though, we do have our red Zerg bot. It is Kagamine. I am so excited for a round of 8 and all our little bot intros. We're going to have the little graphic pop up and the fun little song. Kagamine always has a really fun little song. So excited to see our round of 8.
Can't wait to see it. It just occurred to me, the command center for Terrans, and I've been playing Terrans for like years, like for like 1,000 games. Just occurred to me just now, not any of this past 4,000 games, that the command center looks like a helmet. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, that looks like a hat. You know, like it just, maybe to me, like maybe a sci-fi helmet. You know?
I could kind of see it. Yeah, I could kind of see it.
No, it's kind of I can't unsee it now. Like, you're gonna have to play 4,000 games as Terran to like truly like understand and comprehend the helmet here. But...
No, I see. Yeah, it's kind of like a Halo helmet almost, or something with like
that's true.
Yeah. No, I can see it. Right.
You can see
we'll give you that one.
Dude, I'm even worse with celebrities. Like, I'm like, oh, look on TV. I recognize that celebrity. It's bald. Patrick Stewart. No, that's not Patrick Stewart. Not all bald guys are Patrick Stewart. I'm like,
you're thinking of Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel, there we go.
Easy to mistake those two, I know.
Yeah, they look identical. I'm seeing double.
So I like this little wall off Antibot's got. It's gonna keep him safe. Kagamine does love to get those lings with speed, as we can see speed being researched. Just started now, so should do a pretty good job at hopefully keeping those out of Antibot's main base. But Antibot is going to need a second base pretty much now, which
he really does need one.
Building.
Yeah. This isn't a terrible build. Going barracks, factory, barracks. It's a valid build. You get both your gas, start pumping out Marines, pump out Reapers, and there's nice crisp timing you can hit that can do some serious damage. It really needs to get a command center next. Otherwise, wait, was that even?
Yep, it was off a little bit.
Kagamine.
Yeah, Kagamine's taking it easy. It's the final day. All right, it's been 7 weeks of hard work. Kagamine can relax a little bit if she wants to.
I could give her that.
Let her play her style.
I could give her that. Looks like he's pumping out a tank before his command center. Yeah. That's definitely off center.
Yeah. Yep.
Like there's a little target there.
Yeah.
Like that's not in the middle of that little circle.
Okay, what do we got going on? Tanks coming up. That's good. Still no second base. Yeah, especially with Kagamine going up to 3. We either need to see a really good all-in, or we're going to need to see at least a second base out of Antibot. But with no wall on the low ground, that makes getting second base a little bit trickier here. So at the moment, we're just going to see one base. Engineering bay even coming down. Could just be a nice little one base all-in. Ooh, nice lift as well.
Yeah, that was so slick. It's kind of strategy I can see working. Sorry, continue.
Oh, I was just saying Antibot's on top of it. I'm just excited.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely on top. This is the kind of strategy that works really well on the bot ladder. There's so many bots out there and such a wide variety of bots that having a solid defensive strategy that works against all bots is actually really solid. Like get that wall off really fast, helps against like 12 pools, you know. Get a tank out, helps defeat like Banling Bus, like just all sorts of cheeses. And then eventually, if the bot's a one-trick pony, which a lot of the lower ranked bots tend to be, then you will get a huge advantage because you'll just hold off wave after wave of rush, get an expansion, then move across the map with like a bunch of Marines after they mine out.
That's a very valid point. Yeah, if you get up 200 army supply on one base, and as long as you don't lose that army, you can win any StarCraft game.
No, it is very true. The catch, though, is you got to keep the army supply, and you got to make sure your opponent is one of those one-trick ponies. Kagamine is not that. Kagamine is probably one of the most versatile bots out there. Loves to adapt for any situation. So
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle for Antibot, just and with all that in mind, for sure. But you never know. Could happen.
No, I'm not saying it's impossible. You never know with bots. Anything could happen.
Anything. Everyone keeps saying that, but I still don't have a bot making me a pizza. Doing my laundry. All right.
I need those. I need those in my life so badly.
You said anything, okay?
Yeah, no, I did say
including
anything.
Developing sentience. Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, we're not going there.
Not yet.
I've seen Terminator.
All right. So what do we got going on here? Ooh, a Spire coming down. I like that choice out of Kagamine, especially just with that low base count for Antibot. It's just going to be so slow to building up that army supply where Kagamine is just going to cruise up to 200 here. No problem. It's going to be hard for Antibot.
Yeah, it's engineering, babe. If he's against mutas, all he needs to do is spam a lot of turrets.
Actually, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen.
Mutas are trash against turrets. That is true. Washing machine. Oh, yeah, well, I guess that is technically a bot that does my laundry. Touche, Yamabushi. I want it to fold my laundry as well, though. All right. And put it away. I love the Ling burrows. Look at this.
Dude, those are so annoying to play against. You try and build a base there, and you'll just keep doing it.
That's one of my favorite things I think that Kagamine does.
Yeah, he gets so many wins just from the fact that his opponent can't keep expanding unless they know to scan before placing down at the command center, which a lot of bots don't actually know to do.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've talked about that before. It's just another thing you got to add into the bot. The bot has to recognize, oh, there's something there, so I need to scan. So it's all stuff that just needs to be added in. I'd say like a third of our bots are good with scans. Is that an accurate assessment?
Scans aren't too common to see it with bots.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe two.
Yeah, something like that. Looks like the bases. And the other thing you get from what the heck is going on there? I don't think you mine any faster by having a bunch of it. Zerglings there.
Well, actually, the drones don't get blocked by him, right? Yeah, because the drones will just kind of walk through.
They'll just go through them, but he's trying to make Zerglings be drones. It's amusing to me.
So I'm curious. Yeah, this is a very passive game up until I think this first attack, which is now maybe coming down. Kagamine is moving out with a lot of Zerglings. Got some Hydras in the mix as well. It's just gonna really build up that almost 200 supply. And then go, and that should just be enough to crush Antibot. Antibot does have a good little army here, though. For being so slow on the macro, only down 20 supply, but with tanks, that can kind of get evened out. A lot of that supply is in Zerglings for Kagamine. So, I don't know, man. It's scary.
It definitely is scary. You can't ever rule out cost efficiency of tanks. For a second there, it looked like Kagamine was going to charge in and get the surround and just finish him off, but Kagamine, I thought better of it, I guess.
It could have been a good call again. Yeah, those tanks can just shred through a lot of stuff. The bio, I believe, has stim. No, they do not have stim. Bio only has +1 armor, +1 attack, about to finish up, +1 for the tanks just now starting as well. And this third base is just too much, I think, for Antibot to get. And here we go. Lings are going to start whittling through the front lines of the army here. And Kagamine can afford to just throw away multiple armies, I think, at this point. Currently sitting on 5 bases, has half the map covered in creep. It's looking good.
It certainly is.
Looks like the
Hydras are actually getting picked off. I would love to see Antibot take a third base, but it's going to be difficult with the Zerglings burrowed right there.
Yeah, it's really tricky. It looks like he did clean up that one on the third base, or is it still there? Oh, it is still there. You're right. I thought he cleaned it up for some reason.
It's hard to without detection. Potentially could do it with tank splash damage.
Oh, yeah, I just saw the land zone, so I thought it was gone, but it is still hiding under there. Okay. Well, siege tanks doing their work. Will they hold? I don't think so. Yeah, as the siege tank line falls, that's going to do it here. That was the one thing keeping Antibot in this game. Was that
I was just about to ask what you thought Antibot could do to get back in the game, but it doesn't look like there's too much.
Not lose the siege tanks would have been my answer.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Keep siege tanks alive. Anything could happen. It's kind of like Immortals in Warp Prison.
That's what I do when I play. What's the Direct Strike or whatever, the arcade mode? Siege tanks all the way.
Oh yeah, Desert Strike or something like that.
Yeah.
One of the only premium maps that they've made so far.
Oh, I don't do the premium version though. I play.
Yeah, do the premium. Nah. All it takes is one person in there, you know, and then you get the premium. I know what it gives you. Yeah, I think so. I've never.
Well, I don't like the hero version of it. Is that the hero version where you get the?
I have no idea.
One hero.
Like I said, I've tried it like once, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah, it's fun without all the heroes and stuff. Anyway, Kagamine owns the map, owns Disco Bloodbath, and will eventually be able to clean this up here. Terran is holding on just because Kagamine is taking the weirdest fight imaginable here from the low ground. But yeah, I guess it still works. Still killing Marauders. Muta's going to come in now and start chipping away at stuff. I guess he killed all the turrets off. Yeah, these Mutas are just going to sit overhead. And that's it. Kagamine looking good. Moving on. Looks like Kagamine is securing herself a lovely spot in the top 4. If I'm not mistaken. What is Kagamine at? Kagamine is at 5-2 now. So yes, Kagamine is moving on to the round of 8. Congratulations. So moving on with Micro Machine so far. That's 2 decided, but we still have 2 more matches coming up and a few more bots to duke it out to see who will be moving on. Coming up next, we've got Three-Way Lover versus Mad AI. Now, this is going to be a really good match.
That's going to be a good game.
Three-Way Lover, definitely one of the better bots, been around a lot of seasons. I love watching Three-Way Lover play. It's got some fun build order action there. Currently 3rd in the group right now, tied with Madbot. So this match right here decides which one of these 2 bots potentially will be moving on to that round of 8.
Can't we see them both move on? Can't we just have everybody favorite? Okay.
Oh, we actually can. If additional, or wait, hold on. What's additional pylons at? No, okay. So additional pylons isn't moving on. Paul's. Oh no, because Paul is at 3-3 as well. So if Paul loses, and whichever one of these 2 bots loses, we're gonna have a tie. I think.
Yeah.
If my math is correct, we'll see when this is all said and done what happens here. I'm gonna write this all down. Get some paper. We're gonna keep notes so I know what the heck I'm talking about. All right. So we know Micro Machines moved on. All right. We know Kagamine has moved on with a 5. Or wait, what was Kagamine at? 5-2 record. Micro Machines doesn't matter. Okay. So yeah, whoever wins this is going to be 4-3. Whoever loses it is going to be 3-4. So, yeah, it's possible.
Oh. Then we don't get to see Paul and his
Well, Paul's 3-3 too. So Paul's game matters as well. If Paul wins, then that pretty much secures him a spot. But if Paul loses, then we'll have that tie scenario. So it's gonna be, we're gonna see what happens here as this goes on. Yeah, Yamabushi. If Paul wins, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore. Let's move on to Tritonelli. It's getting to be that time. Getting our last couple games. We've got 2 more games here in the open stages of Probots Season 1 2020. This has been just an awesome 7 weeks so far. I'm so excited for our round of 8. This is going to be our best finals yet, I think. Very excited for it. All right, Triton, we are here. We are ready. We've got in the top left our red Protoss. Give it up for Three-Way Lover.
Woo, Three-Way Lover. He might I keep thinking version 4 of the bot should be Four-Way Lover, and it just keeps getting up from there.
It's like the 3G or 4G. It just gets better, right?
No, exactly.
It's all scam anyway.
Yeah, it totally is. Unlike Three-Way Lover, he's the real deal. And in the bottom right, we got in the blue Mad AI, developed by Madman.
Madman.
Not Mad Lad. Mad.
Oh yes, Three-Way Lover, created by Yamabushi himself, hanging out in the chat, always dropping his knowledge bombs. So good to have him here.
Yeah, Yamabushi is truly a gem in our Twitch chat. Always correcting us when we're wrong and always contributing and adding more knowledge. Truly wonderful to have him around.
No, because Three-Way Lover's at 3-3 currently, right? Oh no, I'm sorry. Three-way lovers at 4-2 currently. Oh, I did my mathing wrong here. Okay. Madbot's at 3-3. Paul's at 3-3. Okay.
Paul can advance if Mad AI wins.
Paul can advance if Mad AI loses.
But
or even if Mad AI wins. If Mad AI wins and Paul wins, they'll both be tied. And they'll actually be tied with three-way lover. So we'll have a three-way tie if both Mad AI and Paul win. That is the dream, I think. I think that's our dream scenario.
Yeah, but it's so sad. Paul, Captain Jack H, the author of Paul, is telling us that he doesn't think Paul can move on, which is very, very, very sad to me.
Nah, you gotta believe. You gotta believe. Paul's doing pretty. Paul is 3-3 in the group. That is a 50% win ratio for StarCraft. That is phenomenal. So anything can happen, I think, at this point. You just gotta believe, man. Send out those positive vibes.
4-gate proxy build order chosen.
I think that's either 5 or 6 out of 7 weeks we've seen that.
It's definitely his favorite.
Oh yeah, for
build
sure.
order.
Absolutely. All right, so yeah, we're just gonna have to sit back, relax, and see what happens here, because we could potentially. There is the scenario where a three-way tie does happen, but all kind of comes down to this game here. All right, PvP. We've got Forge coming down for three-way lover already. Now, is that just for upgrades? I'm assuming. Yeah, it looks like it. As there's no pylon across the map. Oh no, he gets the defensive cannons, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think. I'm trying to remember. You might actually get defensive cannons because it wasn't used to be called a rush defense.
There it is. Yep. So yeah, he's going to throw it in cannon and a shield battery. A nice choice. So he's going to be able to defend anything Mad AI. And currently both, Mad AI is still sitting on one base. Three-way lover is getting that expansion. They're actually about to finish. So Mad AI are kind of the same as last game. Mad AI needs to make a choice. Attack on one base and try to do some damage, or needs to get a second base. Very soon, like now. But it doesn't look like that. It's doing the 4-gate proxy. But we already knew that. I'm just trying to hype it all up.
No, for sure. I got distracted by chat for a second and the questions about C++.
Yeah, chat's talking. That's talkative tonight. I love it.
If you ever have questions about what's broken or how to get started making a bot AI or AI bot, StarCraft bot, go ahead and check out the StarCraft II Discord. StarCraft II AI Discord. Lots of people willing to help you out there. So how do you think this time attack is going to work out?
I think it's going to work out great. We'll see. We'll see. That high ground with the cannons is going to be really hard to break. But because three-way lover has invested all that money, look at the army supply right now. There's no way this natural survives. And that's going to put it back to one base versus one base. And typically in this scenario, as long as the attacking bot doesn't just throw everything away, it's just a numbers game. Like look at this. 36-0 army supply right now.
Yeah,
Mad AI
really brutal.
I'd do it.
What a madman.
What a madman.
You got to wonder about these cannons on the high ground, though. That looks like there might actually be enough cannons to hold off a lot of this attack.
It's all going to come down to the high ground vision, how much of Mad AI's army is sat in the cannons, because we've currently got 5 cannons right now, and that's a lot of stalkers. They're going to be able to actually gun that first one down almost immediately, but this is where it starts getting dicey, where the stalkers start choking up the ramp. Zealots in a little bit of a choke as well. Shield batteries are going to hold the line for quite some time here. And if he can wait till a Tempest gets out, three-way lover might be able to just turn this around, which I don't know.
It might actually turn around. It's really close. One thing that's working out in three-way lover's favor is that Bad AI is not targeting the cannons very well. He's done tons of damage to the cybernetic score, a little bit of damage to the forge. Just now starting to focus on the cannons. It looks like it might not actually be enough. Maybe with a little bit of more coordinated attack and focus fire, this could have done a little bit better. With the first Tempest coming out, you really got to start wondering if what Mad AI is going to do next in the game.
Yeah, it was that moment there where he was stuck on the ramp. The shield batteries were just able to heal everything up enough yeah, had Mad AI been able to dive in and start picking off some cannons, there would have been Stalkers left to deal with the Tempest. But as it is, I think it's just was decided here. Yeah, the Stalkers just got clumped up and picked off by the cannons.
Mad AI definitely has a tendency to continue trickling units in one by one, even after the initial rush all dies off, which I kind of think is a little bit one of his potential weak points. It seems to not do him many favors. If he pools his units just for like a couple more minutes and then charges back in, he might actually be able to take out some buildings. But as is, one zealot at a time is never going to be able to even get to the top of the ramp with 2 Tempests at the top of the ramp.
You don't think the zealot could get up there, Master Chief style, and take the Tempests out? That would be a cool thing. That would be a cool ability.
Wicked cool. I want to see that.
Zealots can board ships or something. That'd be nuts. All right. And it just like slowly disables the ship or something, or disables the engines for 5 seconds. Yeah, it takes control. Oh, that would be insane. All right, so yeah, as it is. Yeah. Huh?
No, I was just imagining it's all getting a battlecruiser, taking it over. Not reading any of the English and accidentally blowing it up. It's like, oh, what's this button?
So yeah, three-way lover is going to be able to take the win here. There's just nothing that's going to stop the Tempest at this point. So as soon as they push across and kill Mad AI, three-way lover is guaranteed his position in the round of 8. So well done. This build is solid.
It's a surprisingly good build. 1 base Tempest.
Well, it was meant to be 2, but you can show, even if you lose that second base, it still works. It's still very strong as long as you can hold that ramp and long enough for the Tempest to get out.
He held on in the nick of time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that was like the perfect amount of cannons. The shield batteries had the perfect amount of energy. You can see, him starting to take some hull damage as the Stalkers were barely about to whittle through him right as the Tempest popped out and sealed the deal. So, well done. But again,
loving the scouting of the Tempest.
This isn't over yet. We've got one more match coming up, and this is the true decider match here. Additional pylons versus Paul. If Paul loses, we're gonna have a tie for 4th place. But if Paul wins, Mad AI will not move on. At least according to my math, which has been wrong before, but we'll see.
That's brutal.
We'll see. E&G three-way lover.
I'm still can't get over my dash hopes of Paul moving on.
Oh no, Paul could move on. That's what I'm saying. Paul can move on still. If Paul wins. Even if Paul loses, Paul could still move on. Paul has 2 chances. True. Paul has 2 lives right now, technically, if you think about it.
I choose to keep hope alive. Regardless of what anybody else may say. No matter what the facts say, I choose to keep hope that Paul will move on.
We shall see. It's very possible.
If Paul wins, Paul moves on. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. Do you not listen to me?
Sorry. It's been a long day for me. My brain is like partially fried from work, You know that feeling where you're just like, oh, man. Yeah,
and yes, let's not no, Paul is not a lizard. Paul is a dragon.
Paul is a dragon. To answer chat's question, I think this did get sped up a little bit.
If Paul loses the tiebreak. Oh, that's right. Because of the game history, Paul must have lost to whoever, to Mad AI or something. Let's see here. All right, we're getting this next and our final game loaded up. Everybody be patient. I wasn't correcting you guys on the lizard thing. I was letting you know what type of lizard it is. Oh yeah, no, we're just being facetious. We're both loopy and tired.
He's a dragon. He's a bearded
dragon. He's a dragon now. We have upgraded him to the status of dragon. So congratulations there. Okay, so yeah, Paul did lose to Madbot. That is why. So Paul has to win to move on. If Paul loses, Madbot will move on.
Everything is on the line for this game.
Everything right here. Everything. All right, everybody, this has been awesome. An awesome 7 weeks. Thank you again so much for all your support throughout these 7 weeks. Hopefully we'll see out the finals April 11th. There we go. We do have one final game tonight. So again, if you want to become a Crown Club member and support ESChamp and Probots, type in !join. You can also check out our forum, !community, to get all the information, all the matches, what's going on for the round of 8 and the finals. You can ask questions and talk about it and all that fun stuff there. So definitely give it all a little look-see. But with that, we're going to hop into our final game here. We're moving on to Thunderbird for the last game of Season 1 here, open stages. And here we go. Are we going? Or did it freeze? Okay, there it goes. This is a PVZ to finish things off. And let's see. Up in the top left, additional pylons. Our red Protoss is going to be starting with 2 bases with no opponent data. So, seems like a good starting point.
His first 4 buildings, his strategy: Gateway, Cybernetics Core, Gateway, Robo Facility.
So a double Robo into second base expand. I like it. A little 2-gate Robo expand. That's a pretty solid build against most things.
Yeah, it's very defensive. Should be able to hold off basically anything. Probably a good timing. I don't know if there's a timing you can do with Protoss with the Immortals where you go across the map. But it's
there's always an immortal timing.
Yeah, there's always an immortal timing. That's true.
Anything with an immortal is a timing, in my opinion. No.
I'm sure you've mentioned this a million times, but who out of these 2 bots do you think would you like to see go on?
Well, obviously Protoss. I will always choose Protoss. No, either one would be good. It would be really cool to see Paul move on. One of the newer bots, but yeah, we'll see. Because additional pylons isn't moving on either way, so this is just for the glory here, and it could go either way. So we'll see kind of what happens. Oh yeah, we didn't introduce in the bottom right our blue Zerg. Give it up for Paul. You believe in the Paul?
I do believe in the Paul.
Let's see what happens here.
And
we got to shout out the bot makers. We didn't. We're the worst. All right, MindMe created additional pylons here in Python. And then, of course, Paul's creator. I don't code this game. Also in Python.
In the Twitch chat, I believe he goes by the name of Captain Jack H.
Yes, that is correct.
But in our notes, it says his name is I Don't Code This Game, which is probably my favorite name of all time. In addition to Paul. Paul. Wonderful name.
Could name my bot I Don't Play This Game. That'd be a good bot name.
That would be a wonderful bot name. And all you do is just
IDPTG.
You know how Ackermans work with these bots. You can just throw any letters you want and say it stands for I don't play this game. And we'd have to say it every week and be confused and be like, whoa, what does this actually mean? I don't remember.
All right, getting some Paul love in the chat. That's what I like to see here. Again, yeah, everything on the line for Paul here. Paul wins. Paul will be moving on. Paul loses. We've got Madbot moving on to the round of 8. So the fate of 2 bots rests in Paul's hands right now, or Paul's claws. He's Zerg or talons or whatever Zergs.
He's also a bearded dragon. So
and a bearded dragon.
Maybe.
Thank you for that 69-bit cheer. Very nice. Thank you, Ile1414. I can't say that name. Starting stage is complete. This is the moment. This is what I always look forward to. We're moving to game state mode. Are you ready for game state mode?
I am. I've been looking forward to this since the day I was born.
This is where it all comes down, man. Now I'm curious. Is Paul going to get a third base, or are we just going to see a big Zergling attack here? A lot of Zerglings getting pulled up. 14 Zerglings in production, 16 more, and there's already a lot out. I think we're just going to see a big attack out of Paul, and he's going to try to win the game right here, right now, as soon as he goes.
I have faith. The Zergling speed is almost done. I imagine he's going to move out any second now.
Wait for it.
Stay on target.
All right, it's right. It's going to be right as the Phoenix. Right as the Phoenix gets over and scouts it, he's going to be, all right, it's go time. They know. Ooh, more Zerglings one up here. What is that?
Oh, wait, no.
Oh, no, that's right. How could I forget?
He's doing the Nidus. He has an Overlord in position on the other side of the map.
Oh, my God. I can't believe I forgot. This is Paul's trademark move. It has worked before. Will it work again in the final game of Season 1? This is all on the line here.
Good. additional pylons, has his units on the ramp. He's completely unexpecting this. He's going to be caught off guard. It has
he's got no vision
to do serious damage.
I don't think he can see it. Oh, he sees it with the observer. Is he going to react in time? He is fighting Zerglings on the front lines here, keeping him at bay, keeping his natural safe, but he needs to get something there. Oh, they're going for it now, but it might be too late. One Zealot starts swiping away, but the Zerglings have emerged. Oh, and this might be it.
Damage.
This is a lot of Zerglings. Nice little choke point. 4 additional pylons, about as good as he could have hoped for, but there is just too much. The Zerg swarm is here. This is Legacy of the Void cinematic right now. Only this time the Protoss are not going to reclaim Ire. They are going to fall. And
absolutely tragic
be
if you're a Protoss fan, but
you did it. You did it, chat.
If you're a bearded dragon, you're probably very, very happy right now.
You did it, chat. Paul, with your energy, has sealed the deal with the amazing Nidus play. Again, we saw it struggle actually a lot in the first few games of this season, but last week it worked out great. This week is a perfect way to end this for Paul. Not so perfect for additional pylons, but somebody's got to lose.
Very decisive move too. I love how decisive this play is. Oftentimes bots are very cautious and they tend to try and keep all the units alive, save things micro perfectly, but Paul's like, no, I'm gonna be decisive. I'm taking all my units and all the eggs in one basket. We're going to end things right here, right now, one way or another. It's either you or me, man. And it looks like this time it has worked out for him. Last
four additional pylons.
And GG.
GG indeed.
GG.
You did it, Paul. You're moving on. We have our top 4 for Group B. We've got Micro Machine, Kagamine, Three-Way Lover, and now Paul will be moving on to fight. And again, Group A, we've also got some awesome bots moving on. We've got Gensi Bot moving on. Oh, I closed my thing. Gensi Bot. We've got Tyr. We've got Spiny, all moving on. Who was the last one? Oh, and Mech Sweep, top of the group. How could I forget Mech Sweep there? We've got our top 8 bots. Well done. Let's give them all one more round of applause here, everybody. Well done, Bill.
Those games are so sick.
All right, well, that does it for the open stages here. We've got our top 8 bots for the Grand Finals. Again, Grand Finals are going to be on April 11th, online here on ESChamp. All you got to do is sit down where you're sitting right now and pull up the channel, and you can come hang out with us. If you want to be a Crown Club member, you can have a chance to partake in our Bots versus Humans show match. That is right. Type !join in the chat. You support ESChamp, but you also get to save humanity potentially. It's going to be a fun little show match. We're going to get as many bots as we can. So we're going to get a nice even team on both sides. A little, what is it? What's the format where you take turns? All kill? Yeah. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, all kill format where something like that. You don't know. That's fine. Either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, April 11th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you tune in here to ESChamp and check it out. If you want to get more information on ESChamp and our finals and Season 2 of Probots, you can type in !community in the chat and get access to our forum. You can ask questions, you can have conversations, or you can just see what's going on, kind of see the matchups and what events we're doing. Actually, we're going to be doing an event tomorrow night as well, 7:30 Eastern. We will be doing a community game night. So come on back, watch ESChamp, hang out. If you're a Crown Club member, you can come play with us as well, potentially. I believe that's how we're doing it. Directly yell at me if I'm a liar, I'm sure. But yeah, that's it. That is our open stages here on Probots. Thank you again so much, everybody, for tuning in and being here all 7 weeks. Big shout out again to all of our bot makers. You guys are phenomenal. Some beautiful bots this season. I am just still in awe at some of the cool stuff we saw this season. I'm so excited for the finals and for Season 2, which will be happening. And we're going to do another shout out here before we wrap things up for our Crown Club members. So make sure everybody stick around for the host as well. We're going to be doing that after our shout out. But thank you, everybody. This has been an awesome season. Thank you, Doctor, for being here. You're over there. Thank you for being here and providing your awesome casting. What?
Thanks to you for providing your awesome casting as well.
Oh, thanks, man. And yeah, shout out as well to Stephen Brown joining us tonight, giving us some cool insight. He's a very, very good bot maker, very big part of the team. So definitely check out his bits of code. And with that, we're going to run a shout out, and then we'll probably end the show there. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Oh, we're going to do the shout out. Oh, yeah, I got to shout them out after. That's right. So I'll be back. Roll the shout out. I know I got too excited about it now. Warren Phillips, you are the best. If you want to be cool like Warren Phillips, again, type in !join, become a Crown Club member. That's the word I'm looking for. And you can join us again for the finals of Humans versus Bots. Be sure to tune in and check that out. We're going to save humanity, maybe for one more year. We'll kind of see what happens, I guess. All right, that's it for us here on ESChamp. Again, you just finished watching the open stages of Season 1, 2020. We're going to be back in a couple of weeks with our Round of 8 and Grand Finals. So definitely check that out on April 11th. And yeah, we'll see you all then. Have a good night.